Hello everyone, I am Omsri Kumar Aeddula presenting paper on artificial neural networks supporting cause and effect studies in product service system development. The co-authors of this paper are Johan and Tobias Larsson. We are from Blekinge Institute of Technology, Sweden. The major findings of this paper are how an artificial neural network supports establishing cause and effect relationships in the design exploration studies, method for variable clustering and analysis based on the structural hierarchy of the evaluated system, and how the proposed method achieved the desired outcomes was exemplified through a case study. Introduction. Concept evaluation in product development has historically been over-reliant on experts' ambiguous and subjective judgments in qualitative description. Hence, a major question in engineering design is the search for information and subsequent analysis and build of knowledge. Effective ways to generate data is through experimentation, but how the designer should interpret these data models and solutions in design has been largely neglected, and the problems become profound. Considering industrial products and services nowadays normally a group effort rather than an individual act. With the transition away from product view towards providing product service systems, increasing product complexity, and the long prevailing concurrent engineering approach emphasizes the need for design collaborations through cross-functional team for rapid and reliable evaluation of different options of product development, especially in early phases where the information is scarce, vague, and potentially conflicting. Data analysis and visualization helps to interpret and utilize simulation results for cross-functional teams, potentially providing a platform for information sharing, communication, understanding, and building of knowledge. Identifying the cause and effect relationship by associating data and information with identifiable components and subsystems within the study system is an efficient way to share information, aiding understanding in a cross-functional team. Regression could be employed to understand cause and effect relationship, where multiple linear regression restricts only for linear data. Artificial neural networks could solve the problems because of its adaptability, flexibility, and optimization capabilities. The paper aims to support quantification of dependencies between design variables and design attributes on a component or subsystem levels in cases where more than one independent variable drives the configuration of the component or subsystem. The independent variables in a design exploration study might, for example, be associated with the proposed mechanical structure, usage scenario, or even other attributes of the studied system. The resulting data structure of an experiment, including dependent and independent variables, is classified as a two-level variable hierarchy according to the left part of this figure. However, typically, these independent variables are not identifiable as components or subsystems. Rather, a subset of independent variables in an experiment combined with parameters and constants drives the configuration of a particular component or subsystem, and as a consequence, also attributes associated with that component or subsystem. This might be visualized as an intermediate level in the variable hierarchy of the analysis as exemplified in the right part of this figure. The proposed methodology is illustrated here in the figure and also schematically showing its role in the concept evaluation process. The method initially identifies the continuous and categorical variables. A subset of design variables according to the structural hierarchy are clustered, and each design variable forms a node in the input layer of the designed artificial neural networks. Variables are standardized to analyze them independent of the metric scale. The standardized variables are trained using artificial neural networks to establish cause and effect relationship between the desired hierarchy levels. Firstly, artificial neural network. An artificial neural network is a mathematical and computational model that simulates the human brain functions of perception, computation, and memory. The ability of neural networks to learn generalized from the input data makes them a powerful tool to solve numerous real-world applications. The designed artificial neural network consists of a single input, hidden, and output layer. A Leavenworth-Marquardt algorithm was employed to train the adapted neural network as it combines the benefit of gradient descent and Gauss-Newton methods, and it also speeds up the convergence rate. To determine the relative importance of each design variables or independent variables, a connection weight method was employed. Moving on to variable clustering. Design variable clustering involves constructing latent variables inferred from the observed design variables. In the study system, design variables are clustered according to the reference structural hierarchy. The studied system was clustered according to the equation x nu equals to v1 times z1 plus v2 times z2 plus so on until vn times zn, where x nu is the generated design variables and z is the variable data matrix in rotated coordinate system, and v represents the total variance of the rotated matrix and n represents the number of variables to be clustered. Let's focus on results. An existing dataset originating from design exploration study of road construction equipment was used to illustrate the proposed method. The dataset consists of 700 concept variants with 7 design variables and 16 functional attributes. These 7 design variables contain categorical variables, which are then transformed to continuous variables, resulting in 20 design variables at the component level. These 20 design variables at component level are clustered according to the reference structural hierarchy, thereby resulting in 5 design variables at the intermediate level. Battery technology is a categorical variable which is transformed to continuous, resulting in battery technology 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Thereby, the battery capacity and battery technology are clustered to form battery variable at the intermediate level. Similarly, for bearing types, it forms bearing variable at the intermediate level, and types of motors are clustered to form motor type at the intermediate level, and frame angle and tank volume are clustered to form front frame, and the connector remains the same at both intermediate and component level. The proposed method with clustering does not affect the significance of non-clustering variable. For example, in this case, the connector has a value of 8.6% relative importance at both the intermediate as well as the component level, which can be shown in the figure here. And finally, the proposed artificial neural network was trained using 70% of the data, and the remaining 30% was used for testing and validation. Different validation technique results for the proposed method are shown in this slide, where the left part of the figure shows a visualization of the goodness of fit for the proposed net present value functional attribute based on the design neural network architecture. The value of R determines or validates the goodness of fit. Closer the value of R to 1, closer is the fit. Our proposed method generated a value of 0.99 at both the component as well as at the intermediate level. In addition, root mean square error and average relative error were calculated to validate the proposed method. The figure on the right shows the predictive capability of the derived neural network, where 30% of unused neural net present value data was given as an input to the equation of the derived neural network, resulting in the data with consistency at both the intermediate as well as component level. The blue line here represents the data obtained at intermediate level, and the red line represents the data obtained at component level. To illustrate the usefulness of the proposed method, the values from the variable contributions can be used as a basis for color coding the CAD representation of the studied system. An example of a color-coded CAD system is shown in here, with color schema ranging from red to green over yellow. Red represents a negative effect, on the studied attribute, and whereas green represents a positive effect. The figure shows four different attributes with its associated color coding for net present value functional attribute. Finally, the takeaways. The major findings of this paper are how an artificial neural network supports establishing cause and effect relationship for design exploration studies, a method for variable clustering through linkage to the proposed structural hierarchy, and the significance of non-clustering variables remains same at both component and intermediate level. And the proposed method, visualization, forms basis for color coding a CAD model, and overall the method supports collaborative design decision making through visualization of derived cause and effect relationships. Thank you for listening.